Welcome back to the Tale of Desperauex. The next part we're going to read is called the fourth book, Recalled to the Light. And here it is. Here, I showed you on at the end of the last one. And there you go. So if you remember, Miggery Sal's in the dungeon. She's been talking to Roscuro, who not good. Desperauex is hiding underneath the napkin on the tray. Miggery Sal's carrying the tray back to the kitchen. She has just finished her job, and her job is to take the jailer, Gregory, his lunch. So, we start out chapter 34. Fourth part of the book. My friends, you did not forget about our small mouse, did you? Back to the light. That was what Gregory whispered to him when he wrapped Desperauex in his napkin and placed him on the tray. And then Mig, after her conversation with Roscuro, carried the tray into the kitchen. And when she saw Cook, she shouted, "It's me, Miggery Sal, back from the deep downs." "Oh, lovely," said Cook, "and ain't we all relieved?" Mig put the tray on the counter. "Here, here," said Cook. "Your duties ain't done. You must clear it." "How's that?" Mig shouted. "You must clear the tray," shouted Cook. She reached over and took hold of the napkin and gave it a good shake, and Desperauex tumbled out of the napkin and landed right directly, plop, in a measuring cup full of oil. "Ack!" said the cook. "A mouse in my kitchen and my cooking oil in my measuring cup? You, Mig, kill him! Kill him directly!" Mig bent her head and looked at the mouse slowly sinking to the bottom of the glass cup. "Poor little Missy," she said, and she stuck her hand into the oil and pulled him out by his tail. Desperauex, gasping and coughing and blinking at the bright light, could have wept with joy at his rescue, but he was not given time to cry. "Kill him!" shouted the cook. "Gore!" shouted Mig. "All right." Holding Desperauex by the tail, she went to get the kitchen knife, but the mouse tail was covered in oil, was slick and difficult to hold on to, and Mig, in reaching for the knife, loosened her grip, and Desperauex fell to the floor. Mig looked down at the little bundle of brown fur. "Gore!" she said. "That killed him for sure." "Kill him even if he's already dead," shouted Cook. "That's my philosophy with mice. If they're alive, kill them. If they're dead, kill them. That way you can be certain of having yourself a dead mouse, which is the only kind of mouse to have." "That's some good sophisy, that is, killing them even if they's already dead." "Hurry, you cauliflower-eared fool," shouted the cook. "Hurry!" Desperauex lifted his head from the floor. The afternoon sun was shining through the large kitchen window. He had time to think how miraculous the light was, and then it disappeared, and Mig's face loomed into view. She studied him, breathing through her mouth. "Little Missy," she said, "ain't you gonna skedaddle?" Desperauex looked for a long moment into Mig's small, concerned eyes, and then there came a blinding flash and a sound of metal moving through the air as Mig brought the kitchen knife down, down, down. And here's a picture. Desperauex felt a very intense pain in his hindquarters. He leapt up and into action. My friends, he scurried. He scurried like a professional mouse. He zigged to the left and he zagged to the right. "Gore!" shouted Mig. "I missed him." "Ain't that a surprise," said Cook, just as Desperauex scurried under a crack in the pantry door. "I got the little Missy's tail," said Mig. She bent over and picked up Desperaux's tail and held it up, proudly displaying it to Cook. "So," shouted Cook, "what good will that do when the rest of him has disappeared into the pantry?" "I don't know," said Mig, and she braced herself as Cook advanced upon her, intending to give her a good clout to the ear. "I don't know." Chapter 35. Despereaux was pondering the reverse of that question. He was wondering not what he would do with his tail, but what he would do without it. He was sitting on a bag of flour high atop a shelf in the pantry, crying for what he had lost. The pain in his hindquarters was intense, and he wept because of it. But he also cried because he was happy. He was out of the dungeon. He'd been recalled to life. His rescue had happened just in time for him to save the Princess P from the terrible fate that the rat had planned for her. So Desperauex wept with joy and with pain and with gratitude. He wept with exhaustion and despair and hope. He wept with all the emotions a young, small mouse who has been sent to his death and then delivered from it in time to save his beloved can feel. My friends, the mouse wept. And then he lay down on the sack of flour and he slept. Outside the castle, the sun set and the stars came out one by one, and then they disappeared and gave way to the rising sun, and still Desperauex slept, and while he slept, he dreamt. He dreamt of the stained glass windows and the dark of the dungeon. In Desperaux's dream, the light came to life, brilliant and glorious in the shape of a knight, swinging a sword. The knight fought the dark, and the dark took many shapes. First, the dark was his mother, uttering phrases in French, and then the dark became his father, beating that drum. The dark was Furlough, wearing a black hood and shaking his head no. And the dark became a huge rat, smiling a smile that was evil and sharp. The dark, Desperauex cried, turning his head to the left. The light, he murmured, turning his head to the right. He called out to the knight. He shouted, "Who are you? Will you save me?" But the knight did not answer him. "Tell me who you are," Desperauex shouted. The knight stopped swinging his sword. He looked at Desperauex. "You know me," he said. "No," said Desperauex. I don't." "You do," said the knight. He slowly took the armor off his head and revealed nothing. No one. The suit of armor was empty? No. "Oh, no," said Desperauex. "There is no knight in shining armor. It's all just make-believe, like happily ever after." And in his sleep, my friends, the mouse began to cry. Turn the page. And with that, we'll stop right there. Seems like my tablet's frozen again, so we'll see you next time. Remember, Desperauex now is in the kitchen. He's had his tail cut off by Maigre Sal. Nig and the cook were trying to kill him because cook can't have a mouse in her kitchen. So we'll have to wait and see what happens to little Desperauex without his tail, and the evil plan that Roscuro has hatched with Maigre Sal. All right, we'll see you next time.